RoboTech, Rick Hunter number 4, brings the Pegasus Squadron's fight to stop the Zentraedi terrorist cell to a close with a race around the world to stop a doomsday weapon. We've got the review right here. See you in 3. Welcome back to Comical Opinions. This is our review of RoboTech, Rick Hunter number 4 from Titan Comics. But before we get started, please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. Your attention is greatly appreciated. And make sure to stay tuned to the end for the final score. Let's talk about the credits. This issue is written by Brandon Easton, with art by Simone Regazzoni, colors by Sakti Uono, letters by Anwar Designs Jame, and the cover art is drawn by John Lamb for cover A, the main cover. Before we dig into this issue, let's talk about what happened in issue number 3, because we've had a long hiatus and some things happened, but it's been a while. We have to refresh our memories. In issue number 3, the Pegasus Squadron barely survived an attack by the Zentraedi. Their ships were taken down, people were injured, hopefully none of them too badly, and they find out that the Zentraedi terrorist cell, led by the vicious Zoral, who's a zealot, wants to take control of the last remaining fold drive and do something with it. They're not exactly sure which way the Zoral is headed, and so they're now looking all over the Australian South Pole area to find out where he's hiding and what he's up to. Now we pick up with RoboTech Rick Hunter number 4. The Pegasus Squadron finds Britai's ship near the location of the Zoral terrorist cell, but it seems to be abandoned. They enter it, and by entering it, they set off a trigger or a warning system that activates a holographic image of Zoral, who taunts the Pegasus Squadron, saying, you thought I wanted the Britai ship. That's not what I was after at all. What I am after is another one of the grand cannons that the humans had started to build during the war, but had since abandoned because they were focusing on rebuilding their infrastructure. I'm going to activate that grand cannon and trigger it and set it off, pointed at the Earth's core, and it's going to blow most of the planet apart. And that's going to be my final act of revenge against humanity. Don't bother coming after me because the cannon is on the other side of the planet and you'll never get here in time, is what he taunts Rick Hunter with. What he doesn't realize, and neither does Rick Hunter, is that Lisa Hayes has received permission to activate a prototype battlecruiser that can get to the other side of the planet lickety-split. So she swings by to where the Pegasus Squadron is located, picks them up, and heads to the other side of the planet to get to the base where the Grand Cannon prototype is stored. What Zoral doesn't realize is as he's about to activate the Grand Cannon, I know it sounds a little funny, it's Grand Canyon, it's called Grand Cannon, the Britai is actually alive, and he's in the base, and he's been traveling with Zoral's crew because he intends to sabotage him to prevent him from destroying the fragile peace between the Zentraedi and the humans. Britai somewhat succeeds, at least in destroying the trigger devices that Zoral's been building, and escapes the base, but Zoral decides that he's going to go with a plan B and use his own mech suit to trigger the device. That causes Rick Hunter to go into the base, find Zoral, and then they engage in a deadly battle. But Zoral does activate enough of the trigger to set off a massive explosion that irradiates the base, destroys it, and makes it uninhabitable for at least a year, if not more. But the planet as a whole is saved, Zoral is dead, and then everyone lives happily ever after for now. What do we like about this issue? A lot of things happen. It's very fast-paced. The stakes feel big. You have a terrorist that wants to essentially destroy the Earth as an act of revenge, and so you're moving along at a very brisk pace, trying to get from A to B to C to try and stop the terrorist by the name of Zoral from destroying the Earth. And that last fight is a little bit of a nail-biter. So at the very least, the 4-part miniseries, because this is the finale of the story, ends with a lot of dramatic tension, a lot of urgency, and a lot of action. What didn't we like about the issue? Well, the good sometimes is offset by the bad. It's extremely fast-paced and highly energetic, but at the same time, it also feels rushed. A lot happens in this issue, and it feels like almost every scene is truncated, or you just get snippets and little bits and pieces. It feels like there was a lot more story and a lot more pages that need to be worked out to trying to get the story to fully flesh out and it feel like it was complete. Instead, you feel like you're getting the summary. You're just jumping from A to B to C to D to E and all the scenes in between. So even though it doesn't necessarily feel confusing in that you're missing information, it definitely feels like you're racing through it, and it feels extremely rushed. Switching gears to the art, let's talk about that a little bit. Simone Ragazzoni's art is okay. You get a lot of action. There's a lot of scene switching. There's a lot of backgrounds. There's a lot of character designs. So Ragazzoni has to do a lot of work to kind of keep up with all the things that are happening with very little time to to flesh out intricate details in the background. So you don't so if there are panels that feel a little rushed, but you don't mind it as much. I think where it looks more rushed and probably not anybody's fault necessarily, but maybe due to crunch, is in the coloring from Sakti Yuono. There's a water painterly style to the way the colors are applied here. It's not at all clean. It's not at all neat. There's some bleed on the coloring, and there's almost no feathering or blending on contours and highlights. So generally speaking, the color selection is okay, and where the colors are placed are okay, but there are a lot of places where the color looks rushed as well as the art. So I think just time crunch got away from everybody, and the final result shows it. Final thoughts. What do we think about RoboTech Hunter number 4? Lots of action, lots of energy, lots of urgency, lots of pacing, and big scale and scope for what's happening with the potential to destroy the Earth. However, on the downside, that high energy and pace feels very rushed in spots in both the writing and the art. Therefore, we're going to give RoboTech Hunter number 4 from Titan Comics a 6.5 out of 10. There's a lot of urgency, a lot of action, lots of things happen, and the scale and the scope of the conflict feels like it's world ending, which is what it's supposed to do. But there's just too much rushing in both the writing and the art, and the final result suffers for it. So what do you think about Titan's RoboTech series? Are you a RoboTech fan? Or did you come into this cold? Or did you feel like this was a good continuation of the mythology and the stories and the series that you already knew? Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think. Otherwise, please stay tuned through the outro for the next review.